Didn't mean. There you go.
Okay, so let me go back to the stocks. So we're looking at what Ramie was looking at. And he was looking at coins. Sorry, I'm just moving pictures around here, everybody. Okay, so we're looking at the trade Ramie did. Now, this was 4 hours ago that he did this trade.
And it's May 16th, right? It's Thursday, May 16th for us
Yeah,
here.
for you guys. So on my computer, if you're seeing dates, that's because I'm in Australia. So just go by all Ramie's stuff. So, and that's what, midday for you guys now on the Thursday?
11, yeah, 1 minute.
Yeah, so we have today and tomorrow before the market closes, and then it'll be closed for the weekend. And so he said he was looking at the May 24th expiry, but let's just check out what he is looking at. So if we look to the right-hand side of the screen, this is the 4 hour, and we can see that on this one, see the green line is the 50-day moving average. That since the beginning of May, when it's come up to that one, it's sort of gone back down. A teeny bit of a punch through there, but then it goes back down. And then so he was looking at that when it hits that again and goes down, that's a time for a bear call. So this 4 hour is confirming that because we got the 1, 2, 3 that took us through last night, looks like. And then this is today's one, and there'll be another one that'll come out here pretty soon for the 4 hour. So we'll just quickly look at the daily because we're kind of a little more conservative traders, right? So on this one, so that was 2 days ago, 15th. This is saying 15th on my side, so whatever, right? So got the 1, 2, 3. This one is off the mean, but you can see as we follow that along, that mean still acted from the 15th of April. So for a whole month, this has been going between the first lower sandwich zone, not the lower, the most inside. What do you call that? So this is our sandwich zone. So this yellow line has been a support. So when it hits that, it supports, goes back up. But then the mean has acted as the ceiling and it goes back down. So for a month, it's been going up and down between those two. And so he was looking for when this was going to hit this mean and see if it reversed, which it did. So that's why he got in this morning to take the trade. So I'm just going to put that back to size. We're going to go to the options trading and we're going to look at the numbers that he looked at knowing, okay, this is 4 hours old. So it's going to be in the numbers that he looked at. We could see, oh, sorry, I'll just go back on the stock thing so we look at that. Okay, so if we draw a line that goes across, this candle is where the active high is. And there's that 221 that he talked about, 220, 221 area. That's where his active high is. He wants to be 2 strike prices outside of that. So we're going to go to our stock options trader and look for those numbers. He said he put his risk zone right in that area. So while we're here, I might just stick that in there because we go over to our drawing tool. If yours isn't showing up on the side, you simply go down to the bottom. See, there's this blue. When I click on that, it pulls up that sidebar. All right, so I've got it up. This is on my daily. And I'm gonna go set the alert. So I'm gonna go, or sorry, this is setting my risk zone, not the alert, risk zone. So I push on the drawing tool there. And I'm gonna go to rectangle. And then I'm gonna go draw it up here. So I'm kind of looking at, I wanna go, where is that? In there. So I'm gonna kind of draw a box and go out that way a couple of days. Because we want to go to the 24th. So anyway, that's basically how you set that. Look, click that off. So I'm looking for something in that zone to go there. So now we're gonna go to the options trading, right? Okay, so Always make sure you turn on your strategy builder. There's been a few times I didn't, and then I don't know. Anyway, so you want that on, and then we're looking at, he said May 24th, and then make sure the ticker is the actual one you're looking at, especially if you've been looking around, you might have something else in there and your data is going to be all wrong. So we're looking at coin, we're looking at expiration for May 24th, which is 7 days away, knowing that that'll give us 2 days of decay over the weekend, which takes that to 5 days. And we have the rest of today and tomorrow to look at before we get those days. And now we're going to, he was looking at a bear call. So if you look here, you can see calls is highlighted. On this side, if you go to the right-hand side, those are puts. So we are looking at a bear call. So just be aware that if you haven't done much trading yet, okay, they look a bit different and they react a little bit differently. So make sure you're looking for, right now, we're looking at the left-hand side. I'm going to just make my strategy builder a bit smaller. So I just put my cursor on that white line so I can draw it down. Okay, now here is our current market value for this, right? So it's right 202. So in the money would be 202.5. That's on a put. So okay, so on the bear call, if you see all the stuff above this line is purple. Purple means in the money. Okay. In the black, that's out of the money. Those are the kind of trades that we want to make. We want to be out of the money. And hopefully that it goes to expiration. And it's the same on the other side. You can see they switch so that now purple was on the bottom half of it, which is in the money, and the black is out of the money. The other thing that we want to look at is in terms of percentage, like delta is what helps us with determining the percentage. Unlike the Thinkorswim, where they actually have a thing that says what the percentage is as a percentage. So we're looking at 0.16 is like 0.16 is, where did I put that? 0.16 is wake up, Deb, about 85%, and 0.24 is about 70%. So this is in our stock one. So we want, when we go to look at our numbers, we want it to be 70% or better is what we're looking for. And then the amount of spread is going to depend whether we take a $2.50 spread or a $5 spread. And this I learned yesterday, okay, since I've been in October, but just knows Ramie went and he wanted a 5-point spread. So he just jumped one of the things. So if you look, I'll show you. So he said he went, got to move this a bit. So I'm just going to the right-hand side, pushing on that button to give me more data down below. Because he went in at 2. I think he said he did he say 220? So, and what we're going to do is we push the bid first and then the ask, because we're essentially sort of putting that out there for someone to take, to sell it to them. And then we're going to buy it back at our GTC, which is half price once it fills. So I would go to the bid column first, right? And so he went, I'm thinking 220 to 225.
So
he went,
sorry, go ahead.
What did he go?
222.5 and 227.5.
Okay, so I gotta go give it more data here. So I'm going this way, everybody. Whoops, sorry. Give as much room as I can there and then go down so I can get those numbers in here. Okay, so if you look at those numbers, so 222.5, I'm just gonna click on that one, it'll be here. And then he didn't go to the very next one down, which would be a 250 spread. No, he did talk about that, but he went to here and that's where he did his bid. So look at, if you look at the thing that's highlighted in red right now, it says $2.43, right? The blue one, when I click that, is 196. So who's good with the math? 196 would be 4 cents, so 47. So that's giving a 47-cent spread right at the moment. And when he did it, he said it was $1.20. So you can see the market has changed since then. Generally on a 5-point spread, we were looking at 65 cents is what Jeff says to make it worth the profits that he makes. Right? So if you're getting the percentage you want and you're willing to go a bit lower on what you get to take off the table, like the profit you make, you could look at that. He also talked about if we wanted, like that's when he put it in, that we could do, I think it was this one, was either 222.5 to 225 or 225, it might have been to 227.5 and get 60 cents profit is what he saw at that time. Oh, here you go. So 220. So it would be the one above that, which puts us a little bit closer to being in the money, but we're still quite a few strike prices away. So he did 220 to 222. So it would be those two. So 63, 73, 83. So right now it's worth just about 29 cents. So not quite 30 cents. And when he did this at 4 hours ago, was 60 cents. So he said you could take either one of those to try when he first got on. Right. So for us, if we just, again, we're learning here. So if we go across to our delta, the one that I entered was 221.5. So that's saying it would be close to being 70%. And this is not quite down to the 0.1, what did I say, 1.6 to make it the one. Where is that? Sorry, gang, let me grab my. I don't know what it is. Sorry, I don't have it right here. Oh. That's it. Sorry, I don't know where my thing is. Do you guys remember? Oh, here it is. Sorry, I'm in a different place today than I was. So it's nice it actually tried. Okay, so on a $5 spread, we want, and this is a stock, we want probability of 70%. And delta at 0.24 is 75%, and
Explain
0.16
delta,
is
Deb. Sorry,
84%.
Deb, can you explain delta for the listeners?
Okay, so delta column, that's where, without going to our profile to figure out what the percentage of probability of success of our trade is, the numbers that we're looking for, and he's talked about it in the training, and I don't know, can you see that? There's a sheet in our curriculum that says minimum acceptable credit. I'll go back and try and figure out exactly where that is. Sorry, okay, minimum acceptable credit. And so he goes through the 5-cent range, the 5-cent, 2.50, and $1 spread, and tells us what we should have. And what I did is from the trainings, when they talk about it, Ramie talks about it in somewhere, and I don't know which day it is and what time frame in the training, but it says that 0.24, so write this down, 0.24 delta is right about 75% probability. So if we're getting that on stocks, that's good. If it's sitting at 0.16 delta, that's 84% probability. And that's right about where we want the probability if we're trading an index like the RET or XPX. So for us today, we're looking at a stock. So and it's coin. Right now, the trade that Ramie did was a 5-cent trade. And so we want to get what they say is a minimum credit we want to look at is 65 cents or better. Now, when Ramie put it in 4 hours ago, he had $1.20 on it. If he had done a $2.50 trade, which he would have placed at this level, one above where we're sitting right now, and it's for us, it looks like 290 and 266. 76.86, so it's only 24 cents now. Whereas 4 4 hours ago, it was worth 60 cents. So you can see how the market changes and what time of day you trade can make a difference. But so now for us, if we go across the trade I put in, it's saying it was at 0.213 delta. So there's delta at the top. Go across to the trade. So 21 is somewhere between 75% probability, it sounds like, and 84. And then the other one was 1.6. So now let's go have a look. I put that into my strategy builder. So I'm going to pull that line up so I can have a look here. I just got to move my clicker button. Here we go. Sorry. Okay. So here it's showing me, did I want to make a bear call right here, right? So I'm like, yes. And were these the numbers I wanted to put in? Yes, because Ramie put May 24th. He did this particular spread that's worth $5 and it was a bear call. So now to confirm what the percentage is, I'm going to push on profile right now, knowing I only have one contract in. And it's saying 83% probability. So even though we're 4 hours behind the trade, it's 83% probability. But then my max return looks like $42. My margin impact is down here is $645. So I have to have that in my account plus extra in case for commissions and stuff, right? So at this point, I'm just going to go out of here for a second. Right? And we're going to play with quantity here. So normally when we watch Ramie and Jeff in their trainings, they're doing at least 5 trade contracts, and normally they do like 10 and just keep it even numbers. So to see how this would set up. So if I put in 10 to make the math easy, I've got 10 contracts. See how that changed my margin to 6,331. Mine is in Australian dollars. Now, when I first start trading, I'm not going to be able to do that. I don't have that much in my account. Now, Ramie and Jeff, they've got $25,000 in their account. They can do that when Jeff talks about how much money you're able to put towards, right? You have, if I say I'm going to start with 5,000, I'm allowed 2 trades and I take half that amount, which would be 2,500. And then actually we need to have a few $100s to kind of have for commissions. And if it starts to go wrong, like how we fix it. And so my trade needs to be, I'm going to change this and go lower. I'm going to go half of that to see how that changes. So 3,000, that's still a bit too much for me to do a trade when I've got to look at that. It's got to be around $2,000 of impact or a little bit less, right? So, but put them in paper money and we want to do something, keep it easy and sort of similar numbers to what Ramie would be looking at. So I've changed that to 5. I'm knowing it's about a $3,000 impact, and we're going to look at profile and see what. Okay, so it's saying 83% probability. Now the max return $235. So that's closer to some of the amounts that we've talked about in the training, right? And Jeff, lots of his are kind of 400 or 600. So if you imagine 5 more contracts on that, that's why his numbers look like they look. Whereas when we trade, don't panic if you've got smaller numbers. But then it becomes, you got to be making enough profit that once they take the commissions out, that you actually make some money. So I've got some trades that I actually only made, I was making $50, but then I lost $7 on commission. So I only made $43, but it was in my zone and right and per practice. So does that sound clear, or is there any questions on that stuff? It's all good. All right, cool. Now, what could be smart is to take a screenshot of this. So then if you need to go back to anything that you might want for data on your trade, then you have it, right?
You're advising people going forward to do that when they get to this.
Yeah, yeah.
Screenshot, keep it.
So screenshot, create a file for the trades you do on that day. Maybe you have a file, and so you have, and then each day a new one for that day's trading. Because what I've found is now that I'm trying to go back and deconstruct my trades to figure out what I did well and what I didn't do well, I sometimes don't have as much data as I would like.
Mhm.
And so would be, and I'm trying to figure out for me and hopefully with Ramie, with, you know, like where we actually go to look at some of that and know what we actually do make on a trade when we, you know, anyway, that it'll get a bit more streamlined here as we go forward over the next sort of 2 weeks to a month. So for right now, see it drop, but oh, there it went back up. So it was, but then the max return changed it. So you can see, because the market's still live for another 40 minutes,
Mhm.
40, 50 minutes, whatever, 40. Yeah, that changes a little bit, but this is for a stock at 84%. This is a pretty safe, maybe I shouldn't say that, conservative trade, because Jeff was saying he's okay with 70%. And so there's the veterinarian, right? When she talks about how she really tries to get high up, she's taking less profit,
Mhm.
but it's more likely to be a positive trade. And so those are things to consider. So this looks like it's at 84% right now. Okay, so I'm gonna click off of that. So then to place that trade, just gonna, okay, so we've got all that, right? Okay, so now, do you guys want me to place this? Show how we do it, I
Yeah,
guess, just
that'd be
keep
great.
going. All right, so here's submit order, knowing that to the best of my knowledge, I feel like this is a good trade. I'm at 84%, so I'm gonna write that down. I got 5 contracts.
Do you want to add your official disclaimer? Kidding. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
oh, you'll, for sure, I'm not a professional, you can tell. But if you're practicing in paper money and you need to click some buttons, and I'll tell you, it goes a long way for mindset. Just to know that I care about the outcome of this, obviously, but I also know I'm doing it to learn. And so I'm gonna push submit so then people can kind of see what happens. Oh, okay, I forgot to put in. And this is great because sometimes you forget what to do. It says, so limit price, you must enter a valid price, right? So, because we got yakking about other things. So I need to go in here and place what it was. So when we looked at it, my 222.5, when I clicked on that, it was 243. So it was $2.43. The other, my ask was $1.96, which is my math correct if I say 47 cents? Yeah, so 47 cents, so is what I'm looking for. Now I haven't figured out, some people just scroll this and it moves along for them. That doesn't do it for me, but I need, so I just kind of, this is the slow girl's way to doing that. I just click the one that
Can you
gets me
just go, can you
closer
go
to the
back
one I
just
win.
a sec, Deb? Can you just go back? Because I was madly writing notes as well, and maybe I'm not the only one. Could you said it's, you got 47 cents. Can you just back up and spell out how you got 47 cents?
Yeah, I'm just gonna stick this in there because I'm at
Oh,
it.
okay.
Okay,
Okay, so,
so if I go, and these numbers may have changed because this is live data, right?
right.
Right. So when I don't know if this is where the prices are going to be now that I put it in, but when I click the buttons, this number that's highlighted in red, the one that's at $220.50. Right now it's saying 270, right? Can you see that number?
Yep, we can. Yeah.
So that's my bid. So when you first go to make this, what you do is you want that number. And this is again where you could take a screenshot in the beginning so you've got lots of data. And right now it's saying 270. And we'll see what happens when I do this if these new numbers come in. When I look at my ask price, when I first looked at this, like whatever, 20 minutes ago when we started doing this, was 196. And now it's saying 215. 215. So between 270 and 215 is 55 cents. So that's actually better, right? So that's that. And now see how it just changed again on the screen? Are you seeing it now? It's 267 and 215. So it changed just by a little bit, like 3 cents. But so you take the difference between those, and that's giving you the credit on your trade.
Okay.
215.20, so that would be 55. So it would have been 55 cents if we clicked it like 20 seconds ago and put it in and do it right. And
Now
when
it's
you
50.
go to do your trade, when they say you can do it in 5 minutes, you really can. Like, see, we've taken time to talk through and go through some things. But if you're just clicking those buttons and I go, yep, that's good. So I would have clicked those buttons. I would go directly into my thing. I know already about how many contracts I'm wanting to do. And then I put the limit price in. Now I'm putting in my limit price for the ones that I clicked. So it was 47 cents. And I don't change anything else for right now. And I'm just going to go over it. So now I'm pushing submit. So then this comes up. It's always going to come up, and just double check. I'm in coin. I'm looking at May 24th. Though it's my spread. It's a 5-1. No, it's saying the bid. No, it changed that. Why did it change that bid to 0.84 and to 0.44? So I don't know why it changed that, but if it did, it's 40 cents. And again, I don't know why it's saying that. Is it saying anything different down there? But and that would be 40 cents instead of 47, which is kind of a big difference.
But it actually
But these
still,
are this is, I think this is current, but then those places look different.
can you see, Deb, down? It says limit price 47 cents still.
Oh, there we go. Cool. Awesome. Excellent. Okay, everybody look there. So disregard that quote panel for now, because that's what I put in there. So anyway, and for right now, I don't really know what we do with all of this information. I just know everyone says you now push transmit. So push transmit, that puts the trade in. It says, am I already a little thing come up on my right-hand side, and it says order partially filled, but you guys can't see that little bar. And it's saying Bitcoin, bear call at 48. So, oh, order complete. So let's have a look. Sorry, I gotta move my other bar. Okay, so are you guys seeing this same screen still? The options trader one?
Yeah, you're in order entry.
Okay, so if you look, I gotta move, sorry, I'm just moving some pieces around the Zoom stuff. All right, so I'm in my monitor box on the right-hand corner down here. Can everyone see?
Yes.
Right, and so right here, it's got coin. I have a trade going from yesterday that Ramie did. That's partially filled, and I have this one, and I have 5 positions, and I just got a notification, and like, so that shows up here. It's also showing up in this middle box that you can see right here. And again, so I've got coin on the go with 5, and I've got the AXP with 4. Now, if I click this button, it goes across and shows a bit more. So the other 2 ones with the red, those are already completed. So I bought 4 or sold 5, sorry, sold 5. And, oh, is that little gray box coming up? If you guys want to do that. And then sold, bought it back. And these seem opposite, and that's just the way it is in IBKR. And we need Ramie to talk us through sort of, that's one of those things you just have to go to your brain. It kind of maybe sounds opposite of what we think we're doing. But so what I did is I actually sold 5 things yesterday or a couple days ago, but then I bought back 5 for less so that I made the profit. And so right now, even though this says buys, people have bought them from me, right? So got 5 of those, right? And so now I'm trying to, buy them back at a lower price so that I make profit. Okay, so
That
I'm
is
just gonna
likely
go back.
confusing for the listeners. So if you
Okay,
you just say that again, that Thinkorswim is this and IBKR is this. It's
yeah. So in IBKR, when they pull this up, they get those red and green bars that go like all the way across, and it's got a bunch of data in it.
You mean
And-
in Thinkorswim?
Yeah, sorry, did I say that? So in Thinkorswim, they get those, right? And then they can tell, and they're, and to be honest, I haven't looked closely at their colors. But theirs, it's like they sell and then they buy it back. So they sell it for whatever, say $1, then it gets filled, which is what's happening. So we're navigating through my fill. So it filled, and then they go in and we set our GTC
Yeah,
at a lower price because we're then now trying to buy it back for 50 cents. So if I do that, we make 50 cents on the trade, right? Because someone had to buy it and we get to buy it back for less than what. Does that make sense? Is that confused? I don't not trying to confuse anybody, but and
yeah.
that's some of it. You gotta, if you just keep listening, it will start to make sense. And partly what's confusing in the beginning for the IBKR is because this looks opposite, because this says buy, but we really put it out there for someone to take it, right? And then the order fills. So they sort of bought it at that price, our dollar. So for me today, I have it at 47 cents. Now what I want to do is go in and buy it back, or set my GTC for it to be bought back at a lower price. So then I'm going to get the difference between the two. So if I had 40, so here is that, and it said partially filled. So what I'm going to do is I go into positions here, see how it's highlighted. I'm going to right click on it and see how it brought up in that middle box. Oh, that's my APX. Sorry, I'm looking at coin. That's the one we're doing today. Here we go. All right. So it pulls that up in the box, right? And what I want to do is I now need to set my GTC to be half of what it sold for, right? So I'm going here. Now it's got quantity. Do I not have? I'm just going to do that again. Sorry, there we go. I clicked on it. See how it brought up? Can you guys see the white box it brought up?
Yes.
Yes,
I need to close this trade now. So there, when I go to the top of the white box, I've got the option to buy, sell, close, or roll. I want to close it. All right. Okay. And so 5 positions. That's right. And I want to set my GTC. So I'm going to click on that. And I want to go half of the 47 cents. Right. So I want to go, not that. I want to go half of 47, 23. So if I go 23 cents, so I should be able to just write that in there. Can I change that to 23? It's going to be negative, right? Okay, so that's now half of my 47 cents. I want to now set that as a GTC. So this red box is going to be read as a cell. And now I'm going to submit it. Okay. So I push submit. This comes up as it does. So we're just going to put transmit. Order cell comment will automatically canceled. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. So now that is working. So I have a working order. And so I've got to May 24th. We want to see it to continue to go down, or at least stay below that our risk zone at 222.5. All right. So if I now look at trades, you can see the ones that I have active. So the coin one has now become part of that. What's it look like if I click orders? So you can see where it's got the orders working. Right. And so I'm trying to get those all filled.
Can you take your cursor and move down the bar at the bottom to move across? What else is on the right-hand side of Coin Bear?
Oh, this one?
Yeah.
Okay, so as we go across, so it's got my limit price. It's got the number of contracts that I have out there.
Okay.
Now I haven't actually done this bit. It's got cancel. So I'm thinking because it's not been filled, if at some point before that was to happen, I can just cancel this order and then I'm out of it. But I don't know for sure because I've not actually tried that. But that would be another question that I have for Ramie. Okay, so while that's sitting there and that cancel button is there, can I just cancel that, right? But I want to learn how to navigate through these,
Mhm.
and that what I don't know yet is if I start to get in trouble, how do I sell it for the minimal amount of loss?
So
'Cause
first
right now
things
it's
first,
like-
right? First things first would be to finish up this order. And-
Okay, sorry, yeah,
and
all
then
right,
we'll-
so I'm kind of done, so everything's working, I'm just waiting for these to be filled, so my GTCs are set. So I'm just waiting for it the market to do its thing and somebody to come in and wanna
Mhm.
buy them up, I guess, at the thing. Now,
Yep. And
if
why
I
the
was to,
GTC? Why the GTC, Deb?
because Jeff doesn't want us to get attached to the outcome of the money outcome of the trade, that generally by setting that GTC, it makes it that we will get out of the trade a bit quicker. That amount should encourage someone to want to take that sooner than if we let it go through expiration. If we either take the GTC off, and to be honest, I'm not exactly sure how to do that. I've tried that a couple times when Jeff has sent an alert to our group and we go in and then we do the trade and then he goes, oh, I'm not liking what I'm seeing. I'm getting out of the trade. I'm taking my GTC off. And so for example, right now the original order put in was 47 cents. My GTC is at 23. If the market starts moving against me and I can change my GTC back to the 47 cents and that gets me out, then it's a scratch trade, like everything's zero. Right? But and then there's sometimes he looks at it and he'll say, oh, I want to get out. It's kind of not doing what I want, but I'm profitable right now. So if I alter that thing, then he can kind of get out of it. And I'm not sure how to do that because we haven't seen those buttons clicked in IBKR. So when I went to do that, and I went to try to change my GTC, like I just put it back to my original price in the price limit. And then I put like submit again, like it seemed like those were the buttons that I had available.
Mhm.
And then it's like it took me out of the thing like right away. And I trying to go back to read that thing. One of them, it looked like I made like thousands of dollars,
Mhm.
like a couple $1,000. But then on another one, it looked like I lost money. So but again, it seemed to take me out. So I don't know. I don't think I did it right. But
Okay, so for on what we just did with Ramie's suggestion and what he did today, is there anything else that needs to be done
I would
to?
only, the other place that you can kind of look at what you've done is going to new window.
Okay.
And you click on that and you go to trade history. So this is another place where you can look at what you just did. And it kind of shows it. Can you guys see this? It
I don't
changed to
know.
a gray thing. Okay, so I just when you're zooming, just so you know, like lots of times it doesn't, when you switch the screens and it goes to these new ones, it doesn't switch. So here, when I click that button, trade history, this is what it brought up. So
Yeah.
can everyone see that now?
Got it, thanks.
Yeah, okay. So the one we're looking at is coin. So I bought 5 coin at this. My price it's saying was 48 cents. That was 47. So I don't know. See, that doesn't seem to jive. I don't know why. This would be the commission. And if I go across, there's not really any more data on there. Like that's all the data that there is.
And what if you
But then
expand that particular line up on the line of the BOT, the line of the BOT? Very right, go, yeah, there
so
you
I
go.
gotta push it
There-
back across.
There you go. Thank you. On the coin one though,
Okay.
on the coin one though,
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
that's okay, yeah.
See, my brain thinks opposite way, like my newest thing should be at the top.
I know for sure, but yeah.
And
thanks,
then they put it, I'm like, wait a minute. but I suppose if you're looking at your older trades to deal with them first, I don't know. So anyway,
So maybe that's why there's a wee bit of a difference, because is that maybe in an average? Because you got 42, 52, 47, 47, 47, 47. So that's interesting. Oh, 48 for the 5, but then
yeah,
there's a difference between the price. Maybe that's why there's an average.
yeah. And the timing. So
Yeah.
you can see that these ones filled sort of at the similar time, and then this one was just a bit later, and that was a bit later. And I
Mhm.
think what people are finding when they are in live training, it takes longer for these to happen. Like I clicked that button, I know you guys couldn't see it, but right away the alert came up and said order filled. I was like, whoa. And then one I did yesterday on the AXP, I put in 10 contracts. If you look up here, it's only got 4, right?
Mhm.
And so it said partially filled. Like right away it went partially filled. I'm like, oh, cool. And I went and looked, and there's 4. So I don't know if because and I set the GTC on this one. So I don't know if my other 6 contracts, because they didn't get filled by the close of the day, just got removed off. So
Okay.
that's another thing I have to learn about.
Okay, so
But
for us,
just
so on
don't
this
freak
one,
out if it's not while we're learning. Like, well, those questions will get answered. And we're sort of hoping that we get some of those now that Ramie's in and we're doing another trading in 2 weeks,
yeah,
that we can get clarification on that.
okay, what, and
But
anything in the
and then now this is the trades tab. So if I go into summary, you can see it shows a little bit differently how
Mhm.
this one's gone. So right now I've got that's green, that's the coin, that's a 48. So if it went through to expiration, it would be worth $240. The commission is going to be $3.88 for a profit of $236.12. If it goes, okay, that's at 48 cents. If it goes at my 23 cents, it's going to be like half of that, right? So it'd be 120. I think, I don't know if that point, if the commission's a bit less or if it's the same, I don't know. But, right, so somewhere between $100 to $236 is what I'd be sitting at for profit right now. In terms of Bonnie, your question about why set the GTC, because you go, oh, if you set your GTC, you're making half the money. And for Jeff, it was more about get used to just taking it off the table and preserving your capital and getting out with a profit in the beginning, because going to expiration requires a bit more paying attention to it and adjusting things if it's not going your way and how long to stand. So again, there's not a specific training for IBKR on how we make the adjustment as we get closer to the expiration date. If we feel like it's going to go, like how do we take the GTC off? And so that's kind of what we're looking for moving forward. But
Okay,
Jeff wants our mindset to be, I'm happy with some profit. I've set this, I'm being conservative because my main goal is to preserve my capital and make my trades profitable.
mhm.
The longer we have to sit and wait, because with my GTC, I could get triggered out before the weekend. And then, so I'm not going to get the full profit, but I'm out. And so it's sort of being comfortable with, it's not about the money. It's about what am I seeing in the trade? And have I preserved capital and actually made a bit more capital? And now I can take that money and go on to other trades that and keep growing my capital. And I guess my original obvious is whatever amount of money I put in, I want to double it with the goal of getting to $25,000. I believe that's got to be American amount, because then you're not limited to the number of trades you can do in a week. Whereas right now, when we first go to trade, we're only going to be able to do 2 to 3 trades. I believe it's in the week. Now, need confirmation on that, because there's Thinkorswim, like some of the people in it, they've come with 2 to 3 trades a week or other. And if one of your trade for whatever reason triggers on the same day, they can consider it a day trade, which is not what we want and not what we are doing, especially on purpose. We're not doing it on purpose because we're
Okay.
not day traders. We're in it for
Okay.
So any other questions at this point? Like, I would think that's the main things of navigating through once you've kind of placed that trade. Then it would just be going back to the market, back to the market and seeing what it's doing. And if you haven't set I haven't set an alert yet. So do we want to try and do that?
Yeah, sure.
Sure. Okay.
Sure. Yeah,
So,
yeah. Patty just sneezed. I said, bless you. So bless you too.
share screen again. Right.
Thanks.
So do this. All right. So I gotta move you guys around. Now, is it gonna let me? Yeah. So first we want to go back to our stock, make sure it's coin. So I've set it for right in there, right? So if this starts to go above that 220, right? Like well, it's really 222. We don't want that. So I would set my alert at 220, which is just that little bit below it. So I get alerted and it's saying, hey, that stock is actually moving in a direction you don't want it to. What are you going to do? So that's all the alert tells us. So now think going back to options trader, and there's more than one way to set this alert. So now I got to try and remember. So hopefully, can
Do
you
these
pause
more.
it just for a sec, Bonnie?
Sure.
I'm going to grab my book because it's got, where's my alert one? Alert. All right. Okay. What we're going to do, because we've covered quite a bit already, is just do a quick recap of what sort of happened, and we'll do it as if Ramie is talking you through the first 3 steps leading into doing the trade. So the first thing he looks at is trend. So I'm going to go to my daily because that's where he does, right? So make it bigger. He likes to change it to a weekly. And so we just click on, here's where it says it's a 1-day trade, way over here in the left-hand corner at the top. So just for a moment, we're going to make that into a 1-week thing. It's going to give us a whole bunch of bars. And we're just trying to look at what the trend of this is. Sorry, I'm just moving around a few of the Zoom things so that I can get at the buttons I need to get at. So it's going to spread that out. So right now, if we look at this, remember, this is a weekly. So I'm going over to the right-hand side. So if we look, if I was to draw a line starting in the middle here where it's low and just follow my cursor, you can see that generally it's gone up to here, which is March 25th, 2024. I'm getting that date just by looking at the bottom down here, right? So when I go to this top-ish candle in here, we're looking at March. So from way back here, this was June 2023. Generally, the market has gone upward. Now this last March, April, May, so the last sort of 2 months, middle of March to the middle of May, we've been in a downward. So it's not saying that it's 100% bearish yet, but it's kind of looking that way. So he would draw his trend line and kind of go, okay, we're probably headed down. So he'd go, I'd want to be looking at bearish, maybe neutral stuff. The second thing he looks at is structure. So I'm going to go back to making this my daily. There we go. I'm going to make that a bit bigger. Okay, because we want the last sort of week to 2 weeks of data. And really, we're going to start kind of, sorry, moving Zoom stuff around again, everybody. Okay, so here it was bouncing above the mean. This yellow line right here is our mean. And so it's been bouncing kind of right around it. Here is there's a bit of a trend change in that now it's gone below the mean and to our first lower sandwich zone Keltner line. And then it's going up to the mean, and then it's sort of coming down to the mean, then it went back up to the mean, then it went back down. And this is where Ramie said talked about in the training yesterday. So that would be May
15th for us over here.
15th training that he did. That when it does that 3 times, then right, then you're going, okay, that's a good thing. So it's kind of, I can't remember if count this is 1, 2, 3. So he's like, okay, something's gonna happen. And so when he looked at this, that's where he got the 1, 2, 3 and is feeling like it's gonna be a bear call. That's why he wanted to make a bear call on this. When he looked at structure, if we come down here, and I'll just show you this. Hopefully you can kind of see that pyramid. These are our daily, if we look at moving average, these are the different time frames that they've had us put into our charts. In the beginning, we just had the first 3, the 200, the 50, and the 21. And in the last sort of couple of weeks, both Jeff and Ramie have started to talk about the 8-day one. In a very bullish market, which has been going on for years now, when you look at Caleb, the training that we just did with Pedro, and they talked about overall looking at the market, we've been in 15 years of bullish movement.
Mhm.
I think it was 2000, or was it 2008, like 12 years, whatever. It's been a while. And so they're kind of like, what's going to happen? So in terms of structure, when we see this kind of a structure, that means bullish. If it's flipped over and it looks like that, that's a bearish market. So how do we see that on the chart? So we want that pattern. So 200-day moving average is down here. So that's setting up the bottom of a pyramid, right? Then we move to see what's the next measurement that we have. And this is really tight. So in here, we're coming to the blue, the light blue one, which is our 8-day moving average, or turquoise, right? So we got 200, then 8. Then this yellow one is our 21-day moving average, or our mean. They're the same value. So then it goes 21, and then the 15-day moving average is at the top. So you can see they're all out of order. So it's not completely bullish or bearish. We've got a mixture, which means something's happening in the market. And so he's saying structure-wise, this is kind of neutral and a bit bearish given what's happened this past month
Mhm.
and a half. So he's going, yeah, this is a bearish move, and he's comfortable based on trend and structure. The next thing we look at is the volume. And so volume is down here. So when the volume trend line is going up, it means there's an increase in buyers. There's more people buying. The volume is going up. When it's coming down, it's saying there's less volume being traded, and it's down. And there's, yeah, so let's leave it at that. Right. So it went up.
For the new folks, what's the red and what's the green? Which one's which?
The red means, let me say this so that I'm saying it correctly, because I wrote this down the other day, right? I believe the red means.
Sorry.
Red, okay. When it's red, there's more sellers stepping in. Yeah. When it's green, more buyers are stepping in. So lots of buyers on there was more buyers than sellers on that day. On here, there was more sellers than buyers. So here was a big sell-off. And we see that because everything went down. So on this, people are buying. Right? So from here, kind of went sideways, but then up, right? So in terms of volume, lots of buyers, more buyers today, although that's little thingy, but doesn't matter. Okay, red, more sellers on that day. More buyers. Okay, but so with this, there's more buyers, but it's slowing down in terms of the number, because see, it's this high versus like that's higher. So there was lots of sellers on this day.
Yeah,
And so we
got
see
it.
a bigger drop. Whereas from here to here, see, there's not as much change,
Mhm.
but it went through more sellers on that day. With the, and there's something to do with the wicks as well. and I didn't know
But
that I
that's good.
hadn't.
That's good.
That's good. All
Yeah.
right, cool. All right.
Thanks for
So
that. And
volume
then,
wise,
yeah,
this is, again, in terms of the trending, the volume's dropping, so that's another good reason. Supports are seeing that this is a bear call. The other thing is we come to the RSI, right now I've got it quite small, but down here that it's dropping. So that's another indicator that doing a bear call is safe. So we've got all of that data saying that's a good trade. When we went to our options trading, and then that's where we then went, okay, we're going to make this trade. This is going to be my risk. So if it starts to come, I'm betting on that it's going to go down based on all that data. Right. And so we got my 1, 2, 3. Yep, it went down right where we thought it would at the mean. So this is a good time to take the trade. I set my risk zone so that I know if this starts to come the other way, it's moving against what I thought it was going to do. And I need to decide, am I getting out or do I have time to stay the course? Do I feel like because I have 7 days until the 24th that I can, wait a bit and see what it's going to do? Like at this moment, I'm not going to panic. One, because Ramie did this trade. Okay. As my leader, I want to try to follow him and mimic what he does because he's successful. So I'm doing that. And also is that I do have some days. And so if we look at this in terms of going down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, sort of going down for 7 days. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is sideways. So, it goes down for a few days. So I feel like I'm okay to wait on that. Get some more coaching, hopefully from Ramie, depending when Jeff's back, or, to see that it continues to go that way, because it's what I want it to do is go down. And then even if it comes back up, as long as it's not coming up to my risk zone, it's still a profitable trade, and it still gives me an opportunity to consider, do I keep a GTC on it, or do I take the GTC off and let it run its course and get expiration? So we've got some time
Mhm.
with that.
And
The
we're not,
other thing
you're
would
not
have been
gonna
to
set
set an
any,
alert.
yeah, I was gonna
but-
say, you're not gonna set any alerts. It's just one thing at a time for this particular.
Okay, so then we're done.
Oh, okay, so were you going to? Sorry, Dad, were you going to set?
Now
an
I'm gonna go because I got a thing that said, I don't know if people heard it, but it said that this trade that we've been talking through for about a half hour, or whatever, that it triggered out.
Okay.
So I want to, if we want me just to go over there now and we'll have a look and see what happened.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, so going over to options trading. So sorry, I gotta move around some of the Zoom stuff. It's annoying. All right. So now remember, and when you look at this video over here, remember coin in terms of my positions, there was a 4 and there was only one line of the coin, like the AXP. There's just the one line of it, and it's saying I've got 4 positions. Like when we moved from this screen, I went to do what we just did. There was a 4 in here, and I'd set my GTC, but now it's zeroed out because someone took that trade, right? So now if I go and look at my trades summary, so here's what happened. So here was my sell, and it was I set it at saying 33 cents, which was more. I put 23 cents. Don't want to confuse anybody. I'm not sure why the limit was 33 cents. Cause I thought I'd set it at 23 cents. But,
Is that this one? It is it? Yeah, it is floor. Nor is it,
I think
no,
it
is
is,
that?
that's
that
coin
AX
up there.
Is that
So it
XP that you're,
should be-
oh, or
So
we don't
that's
need-
saying the order, I'm gonna push trades. And it went that, okay, so 5:25 is when we placed that, I placed that trade.
Mhm.
And then at 6:05 is when it sold out. So let's just move across and see.
And that's Australia time, right, for people?
Yeah, sorry, yeah. Okay, so. Yeah, so 5 and 5. So. And let's keep going. Those are the commissions. That's my number account. 2 commission charges. I'm not sure what they are. So anyway, so there's that. So let's look at summary. Okay, so sorry, we'll just get back here so we can see. Oh, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna enlarge this. Can you see it? Or do I
Yes.
have to?
No, you're good.
Oh, okay. So when we do it through that box, it looks like on Zoom when we change the screens, you guys see that. Whereas if we go up to new window, like we did the one time, then I had to go out of my screen share
Okay,
to go back in. But this just
Okay.
switched nicely, so we like that.
perfect.
So there's the second line down is my coin trade. So we had 5 buys and 5 sells. I put it in at, it was 48 cents, and then I put in at 23. So that is going to what I said. Now it doesn't, is there there's not anything, is this covering anything? Nope. So there's not anywhere I can move that across further, is there?
I don't think so.
All right, so it said that's what I set my thing at. I must have just clicked that anyway, and 23 cents. So what this one doesn't tell, it doesn't give the dollar amounts versus when I go through new window. Okay, so I'm gonna go to new window over here and do trade history. But you guys can't see this, can you?
No,
Didn't change. All right, so I'm gonna stop screen share just for a minute and go back to screen share so you can see where that took me. By doing that, it pulls up a very similar summary tab, but this has a bit more. The one we just looked at only goes this far to the where it does the sold, right?
Mhm.
So total was 240 in terms of the first part of the trade we set up. And then the second part was setting my GTC and it sold for 115. So the difference between those two is 125 at a total of $8.37 commission for a profit of 116.63.
Woo-hoo.
wow,
So that trade from the time we started at 5:30ish.
AM your time, right?
So we talk through like a lot of things, but you could see in the beginning, if you just kind of, once you know what you're looking for in the pattern, to actually push the buttons and make the trade, it's only a few minutes,
Mhm.
really. And partly what takes a few minutes is to make sure you're writing down or taking screenshots of the data that you want to have so that you can deconstruct or postmortem or whatever you want to call it, when you can look at your trade to figure out what you've done. And I'm still learning what are all those things I need to have so that I know why was this one profitable, for example. And then this one, the one right below it that I did yesterday with Ramie, like it's still working and not kind of now it's still profitable and it's like more profitable than the other ones. And I've got some time because it doesn't run out until May 24th. But both the coin and the AXP, so American Express, had the same expiration times. But one, I'm out of that trade already with my GTC. The other one is still working. And that's where I'd love for Ramie to kind of revisit this trade. And I think he will, because he did it yesterday, and kind of go, at what point do you go, you know what? I can let this ride to expiration. Here's how I take my GTC off and just let it go, because it's
Mhm.
looking like it's going to do that. Or kind of going, hey, it's profitable right now, but say we get up tomorrow or on Monday after the weekend and it's starting to move a different direction, is it better to get out? So I still have lots to learn. But hopefully this sort of helps give you a place where you can start to look for stuff and, you know, look around. And honestly, that when I switched that, can you see that it's all gray now? Or did it stay on the same screen?
Yes, no, we can see, and then there's at the very bottom there, you've got the sold box that could be expanded too. There might be something to comment there, maybe. I'm not sure, Deb.
This one, okay,
Yeah.
click on that. So I placed it with 5 contracts. And it, in the end, it sold for 23 cents at 6:05. Okay, so all of these ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It was a total. So if you look at those, and they're 47 cents is what I said in. I don't know why that's 52. So I'm not going to stress about it until I talk to it. So we placed that trade at 5:25.18 for all 5 contracts. So all of these are about that, right? Okay. Then at 5, 1, 2, 3, 3 of them went right. Well, they all went within like a couple of seconds. Like, all
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
On then when in terms of placing the GTC, which was at 23 cents, right? I did all 5 in terms of getting out of it. A little bit of a spread in terms of the timing of that. So one went, then 2, and then 2 more for a total of 5. So once you place it, and even if all 5 go through, they don't necessarily all get filled at the same time. And that's what's happening with this
Yes.
AXP one, because I put in 10 contracts on that and only 4 of them.
Okay.
So, but
Yeah, and if
um,
anybody's confused with the date and so on, Deb is in Australia, so that was 5:25 in the AM her time, and it's also tomorrow. It's
that's
also
near close of market for
it's
you
Thursday,
guys on the
Friday.
16th.
It's Friday,
Now
right?
I'm on Friday, but you guys are still Thursday, and you're past close of, we're all past close of market now. And so when we placed this trade, it was like 35 minutes before the market closed.
Just so
And
if
then
people
right as market closing, because I think it's up to, is it 15 minutes or half hour kind of after the market where stuff still plays through and
could be.
completes. So
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank
So
you.
probably stops recording.
Yeah,
So it's not
okay.
too long. And then can you tell yet how long that was?